Hey there, I'm Jesse Hall, and I'm your host for Business Elite Brevard Edition, the podcast that brings you all of the influencers, innovators, and industry leaders from right here on the Space Coast.
And that's right, this is Jesse Hall. How are you guys? Bringing to you another great episode. In the studio, I have some very exciting guests with me. Typically, you've seen me go one-on-one with some of our industry leaders here on the Space Coast. I am blessed, however, to have two smart, very talented gentlemen across from me in the studio today. So we're going to dive in real quick. Again, if you're just finding this podcast, I would very much appreciate a big old follow or subscribe wherever you are listening from. So again, if it's Spotify, get big follow. If it's iTunes or Apple Podcasts, a nice big subscribe really goes a long way with us. So thank you so much for tuning in. For those who are watching this, of course, visually, thank you so much. We do have a lot of visual things, so if you are listening in, you may want to find this video on YouTube or anywhere else we post our podcast behind-the-scenes videos, because we do have a lot going on. We're talking about the Melbourne Independent Film Festival, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But before that, I have both Bill and Terry across from me, and this is their first time on the show, so we're just going to get to know them real quickly and dive in again to what makes them tick and why they believe the Melbourne Independent Film Festival is something that you don't want to miss. Even with something that's kind of been keeping business owners or businesses in general from being able to operate like they have been in the past. We have this thing called coronavirus, COVID-19, pandemic, however you want to call it. It's something that's been affecting all business owners and events. At events especially, unfortunately, we've seen that concerts, sporting events, and all the other sorts have kind of fall to the wayside, and we have now entering into the season where a lot of these events should be happening. You know, we have the holidays coming up, certainly the football season and everything else is happening. So we really want to see what people who not only have businesses affected, but also events affected. So we're going to kind of brush on that, but we really want to get to know both of these gentlemen intimately and, again, personally. So with that being said, gentlemen, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
My pleasure. Let's begin with you, Bill. Yep. You are the owner-operator of the Cut Above Video Productions here in Melbourne, Florida.
Right.
Have you always done that?
No. I started my professional career, as an aerospace engineer. I was an electrical engineer, graduated with a EE degree from NYU, and pursued a career in with missile guidance systems. So I worked on several different missiles in California, then moved to Florida to support some launches, and then to Martin Marietta in Orlando.
Wow.
To work on systems they've developed over there. But I always had this passion that developed when I was a teenager to be in film, TV and film production,
right.
And made my first movie when I was 13. And with a buddy of mine across the street, and that passion never left, and here I am today in the video business.
Yeah, that's super exciting. So the Cut Above, when did you launch that?
1988, the business was incorporated.
Okay.
I actually started it before then, but I use 1988 as the line in the sand where
right.
I made a commitment, a serious commitment.
Fascinating.
And
God, I didn't realize it was so long ago, Bill.
Yes, you were in diapers back then.
Terry, for you, professionally, what's your background?
I'm a dermatologist here in town, and I spend most of my time treating skin cancer.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I always like to say that the world of entertainment is a totally different world than the world that I work in.
Absolutely.
In entertainment, we talk about how great things are. It's going to be the best experience of your life. For instance, the film festival is going to be the best experience of your life. In medicine, we're constantly lowering expectations. Like you may have a scar, right. You may not, you may have a problem in the future. We don't overpromise, but in entertainment, we do. and everybody's comfortable with that. This is going to be the greatest show on earth, right? The film festival, you do not want to miss this, right? This, and particularly this year, Bill.
That's right.
I mean, it's
and in
unbelievable.
this case, we're not overpromising. It is true.
It is absolutely, going to be wonderful. So yes, I'm a dermatologist in town, and like Bill, I got bit by making films when I was a kid, and we made some horror movies in my neighborhood. I grew up in Melbourne Beach.
Oh, fun.
Some of them were entitled Psycho in a Box, Attack of the Moss Monster, and Afternoon of the Dead. And we would shoot those on Super 8, and then we'd get the whole neighborhood together to watch them when they were finally developed.
How funny.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So where can people watch those movies now?
They cannot. They cannot. They'd have to ask me very nicely.
Would they be something that could be entered into a film festival?
No, absolutely not.
They were that good.
Well, I mean, they're like archival stuff. You can look back and say, "Wow, he really started really poorly," but not that things got a lot better. But when I was in college, I took filmmaking courses, even though I was pre-med, and then when I did my residency in Miami, I joined a film co-op in Miami that was all about making films. And then when I finally returned to Melbourne to practice, me and my friends, Bob Lizick and Pat Martin and several other people got together and made a movie called Under the Bridge, which was a horror movie about a troll killing homeless men underneath the Melbourne Causeway.
Fascinating.
And that went to a bunch of festivals.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we took it to festivals, and every festival we went to, we were disappointed. We thought it was going to be glamorous. We thought it was going to be, going to Hollywood, that we were going to really...
Glitz and glam.
Yeah, a lot of glitz and glamour. And so when we came through that experience, we thought, why don't we start a film festival here in Melbourne and make it like a little Hollywood experience and bring the glamour and bring the films to Melbourne, build a community here. But also, let's do it for a good cause. Let's make it for charity.
Sure.
And so we put all this effort into bringing this event to fruition here in our community. But all the money goes now to the No Limits Academy, which is a school for profoundly disabled children.
Wow.
And so one of the nice things about doing it that way is that people realize that the films that we're showing not only are for the entertainment, but it helps a good cause. So we get when we started off, we got great caliber of films, and it has only continued. We just get really, really good movies on the level of some of the greater film festivals in the world.
So how would you compare it to like a Sundance?
We're not there yet.
We're not in that level.
Right.
Though I will bring up a couple of points that regarding that comparison is that the Oaks Premier Theater, Oaks 10 Premier Theaters. Yes. Was our host since 2003, I think, something in that range. And they were the first theater in the country to adopt a fully digital cinema system. And we took advantage of that in 2004. We may have been, we don't have any proof of this, we may have been the first festival in the world to use all digital cinema projectors to show our movies.
Well, let's just proclaim that right here. You guys were the first, and we'll let everybody contest that, right?
Well,
sometimes you just have to proclaim it and let others.
Well, we like to say that Melbourne is the cradle of independent film. Many years back, Jim Jarmusch shot a film called Stranger Than Paradise in Melbourne, and that went on to get a lot of accolades. So we try to call attention to Melbourne being the center of the universe.
I like that. So let's rewind. So would you consider you're both together founded the Melbourne Independent Film Festival?
I was not involved the first year.
Okay.
Yes, that's true. Things really kind of turned around when Bill Williams got involved. Obviously, his technical skill and all his I would say you have a tremendous amount of experience in filming and projection and all the real technical stuff.
Sure.
So he brought us to a higher level. I would say Jeff Hall brought us to a higher level too when he instituted a website. Once we had a website, and believe it or not, back in the day there wasn't people didn't all have websites. Jeff Hall was our webmaster, and when we had a website, all of a sudden we started getting films internationally from around the world because our footprint now had changed. Where we were mostly a Florida festival, it became an international festival.
And the website is melbournefilmfest.com.
Right. And if you all want to look along while you're listening, please do so. We're going to show it here on the recorded broadcast in just a little bit. So when was the MIFF established?
1999.
1999.
Yeah.
And was Oaks 10 always a venue for you?
No, we started off at the Henniger Center
Okay.
for the Arts in downtown Melbourne. And we used to show videotapes, VHS tapes,
Wow.
projection, and we even actually had 16 millimeter films that we projected
okay.
and things like that.
35 also. 35.
35, that's
millimeter.
right. So we were kind of old school, but we've moved into the digital age now. It's all completely digital now. We don't show any real film anymore.
So everybody just submits with MP4s nowadays?
Well, we get a variety of formats submitted, and since we have been working with Eric Emmerich is one of our volunteers, and he set things up with Film Freeway.
Absolutely, a tremendous innovation thanks to Eric.
Yeah.
People can submit their films digitally to us through Film Freeway, and our judges can just go on the website and watch these films, where before we were passing back videotapes and different things like that.
Gotcha.
Now it's like streamlined, and Eric deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yep. So what we do is from that list of submitted films, we select a group of somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 films to show, and then we get high quality versions of those films sent to us,
Great.
which we then encode to the same format that Hollywood movies are encoded, and show it in the same type of a system, the projectors the theater uses. We show exactly the same system, maybe not all the same quality of production, but it has been improving quite a bit lately, so we are getting some very good production value.
So you said you picked maybe 40. That seems like an absurd amount. What has been the record submissions count?
We normally get about 200, 250 films a year.
250 films.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I would say it's a little lighter this year with COVID.
Sure.
Yeah.
However, we quickly became inured to the idea of looking at feature films, and we became a short film only festival, so that we basically put out the word that we're going to accept short films. Now we invite feature films to be shown at our festival, and this year we have 3 films that we're showing that have been invited. One is Surviving SuperCon, which is an incredible documentary about a comic book festival and what it takes to run a comic book festival. And Surviving SuperCon was the opening film for the Florida Film Festival in Orlando, and we're super honored to be able to show this wonderful film in our community.
Yeah.
And it makes it even more wonderful that the director of the film is Stephen Shea, who's a alumnus of the MIF and just a fantastic filmmaker, real talent. And of course, the subject matter is really near and dear to my heart as a tremendous comic book nerd.
Sure.
Right? So I am. The other film that we're showing that I think we need to mention is something called Intelligent Thinking, Patent Pending. And Intelligent Thinking, Patent Pending is done by Melbourne filmmaker Lear Bunda. It's a feature film about his horrible experience being inducted into a sex cult called Nexium. You may have read about Nexium in the news, and Allison, what was her name? Allison, the girl from
an actress, right?
Smallville,
Right? Yeah.
Allison Mack, and some of the movie stars, and how they did this, and he kind of sees it through an absurdist kind of filter. So he's going to make a comedy out of a tough experience, but it's certainly a very, very interesting film, and we're lucky to be showing it here. And of course, it's made by a Melbourne filmmaker. And the third invited film is a really interesting one. Is called The Porter. And The Porter is about a Florida Tech student who decided to move to Mount Everest and work as a Sherpa, as a porter.
Yes.
And in doing so, he found an incredible reality there that is remarkable. And the message of the film is a remarkable one about how these people are basically mistreated. It's beautifully shot. We're really lucky to show it. It is an invited film where Shelley Johnson at Florida Tech was the one who was able to get us this film. And so we're super excited to show that. The director is so passionate about it. He wants to show it for free so that anyone can see it. He wants to get this message out. And interestingly enough, we're showing it, and I think the following week Florida Tech is going to show it as well. And there'll be an opportunity through Zoom to talk to the director.
Wow. You mentioned a couple, and I just want to make sure we're letting the audience know some of the vernacular. You mentioned short film versus feature.
Yeah.
Is there a definition that we can kind of let them know what the difference is?
Well, the definition we use is we cut off short is 25 minutes or less.
Okay.
And anything longer than that we put in the long format category, and that would have to be invited or specially arranged. We don't accept submissions in that area. And along the lines of submissions, we did last year to encourage submissions. We did 2 little cute openings. One a takeoff on Frankenstein, and the other one a takeoff on The Godfather. And if we can play them now,
I could get them. What's a feature? Where's the feature start as far as time?
Well, for us, it's over 25 minutes.
We would
Okay,
consider
so
feature, but
less than-
normally a feature is 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Right.
That's
okay.
the standard.
Like the Hollywood, movies.
Hollywood-
What people are used to.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the Hollywood length.
Yeah, let's go look at the real quick this promo. I think you guys will like it. Let me get the audio up here.
It's alive! It's alive! And you can meet real live filmmakers at the MIF, living their dream of seeing their creations come to life on the big screen. Be sure and submit your short films by July 4th so you can be part of living your dream at the MIF.
I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. If you get your MIF submission in before July 4th, it'll make me happy. Capiche? As you wish, Godfather.
Both terrific productions. the talent, I love it. Do you guys have a lot of in-house talent that you guys use between like the MIF organization as far as other filmmakers and
there's a community of talent here in Melbourne. Right. Like I mentioned earlier, I think Melbourne's the center of the universe.
Right.
But some of the people I think that have really brought the MIF up to a tremendous level, of course, is our hosts, Jeff Hall and Bob Lizick and Pat Martin. Right. And, of course, our wonderful red carpet hostess, Robin Krasny.
Yes.
And Robin's in a group called Robin and Eddie. And she and Eddie have performed for years at the MIF, and they've done a lot to help bring our profile up and make it very cultural. Wouldn't you say, Bill?
Yes, and there's also several film organizations, independent filmmaker groups in the county. The Florida Independent Filmmakers is one, and Brevard Film and Talent is another. And they are both big contributors to not only making independent films, but they both help out with the MIF, supplying their people to help with that with our organization of the MIF. And they'll all be there a week from. Oh, the MIF this year is October. Yes, I know where I'm at. October 15th through the 17th at the Premier Theaters Oaks 10.
Can I give a shout out to Sandy
Anytime.
Granger Talby, who helps run the Brevard Film and Talent Group, or what we call BFAT. And she is the webmaster currently at melbournefilmfest.com. So the wonderful stuff you're seeing online is, I think it's a product of what Chris Kreidler did. She kind of got that going. And then Sandy is just keeping it alive and making it really, really shine. So big shout out to her.
Yeah, that's perfect. In fact, I wasn't sure there was such a thing with this talent. I'm gonna have to submit my my little reel of different things I've done. Anyway, I've been known as a commercial actor, if you could call it that.
Fantastic.
No, it's not fantastic. I think one of them I had one line. The other one was a nonverbal role, and then another one was. And I think they all played like locally here, but I always have fun in front of a camera. Like it's just, I think it's just fun. And if I could be, get the makeup and do some stunts and and really like do like a more film style than just a quick 30-second commercial, I think that'd be a lot of fun. So I'll have to check in, see if there's any opportunities out there.
There are a lot of opportunities. I just got an email from a gentleman in New York who's moving to Melbourne, and he said that because of the film community in Melbourne, he wanted to move here, and he was a active guy in Hollywood, New York, making real films. And so, if you want to get involved, I think Brevard Film and Talent, Florida Independent Filmmakers, and even Sue Dontel and Women in Film, and there's so many people that are getting things done.
You're mentioning things I never heard of here in this area. Now, I do have friends who have either been featured or have done different things and submitted. I kind of run in a little bit of an artsy, as you could guess, having a studio here in Melbourne. I kind of run into a lot of people, and I do a lot of work, just outside of my real estate, outside of the podcast hosting, studio ownership. I do get out there and I see some of the what goes on. Plenty of friends in music and so on. So I definitely think there is a great culture. There's a great music culture. I think there's a great, now I'm learning, even a great film culture. We have a lot going on here in this little part of East Central Florida, and it's a proud scene. I'm really delighted to see more and more enthusiasm, and let's give you guys those accolades, because you guys. I don't think there's anything else that's even competing. I don't
well,
think
Jesse, you mentioned music culture.
Right.
That's a big part of the MIF. We actually have several people who are recording artists performing at the MIF this year.
Right.
For instance, we have a movie called Pure, Melody Murderers, and it features a rapper from Virginia named Pure. And Pure and his DJ Eternity, are going to be performing on our red carpet on Saturday night.
Very cool.
So it's an amazing show they've got planned for everybody. If you like hip-hop music, this is going to be a very, very special occasion for us to have him there. And then Saturday night after the show, we have a local talent, Chase Ryland, who is a country vocalist, let's say that. And he's a fantastic talent. I'm very excited to have him showcase some of his stylings Saturday night. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I always like to say that the words music and magic are very similar, so we're hoping that both these artists will create some magic. And then the other thing that we didn't even touch on is the outdoor drive-in theater that we're planning on Friday night.
So let me pump the brakes since you mentioned it.
Yeah.
In previous years, what would a perfect festival look like? How many days? How much of it is in the theaters? How much is it in the red carpet? How much is it after party, pre-party, and cast party? I mean, what's it look like normally?
Well, in very early years, we used to be a little more freestyle. Now we've got everything organized, except for this year because of the pandemic. We're going a little, we'll talk about in a minute.
Sure.
We're going out of the box a bit. And what we do is we have a Thursday night opening event, typically, and that's in all of these things. Traditionally, we're in the theater, and the Oaks 10 complex. And then that would be either a collection of shorts or a feature presentation. Then Friday afternoon, we continue with some international present shorts, some international shorts that we will show. Friday evening, in past years, we would do a comedy session right after dinner, and then a horror section in the evening.
Fun.
This year, we're going to do the comedy section as a drive-in movie presentation in the parking lot in front of the Oaks 10 Theater.
Fun.
So this is going to be way out of the box for our traditional way of doing things.
But it's so COVID friendly, Jesse.
I'm sure.
Because people can stay in their car, they can tune in by FM radio and hear the show. We're hoping that the comedian will be able to get some applause. Maybe people honk their horn or flash their lights. I don't know how you get response when everybody's sitting in their car and you're telling jokes to him. So hopefully he's going to get some response that way. And then we're going to show some short films there, and it's going to be fun. And I think people who are aching to do something but don't want to feel safe about it.
Right.
This is probably one of the best things that we could have planned.
What's the capacity for the drive-in? I mean, can you have 100 cars there?
I think that would be the maximum. And we're charging $10 a car load.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just stuff the cars with all your friends.
Yeah, kind of like the old days when you used to go to a drive-in movie, go in the trunk, hide anywhere you
That's
can,
right.
and then drive in.
Because once you get in, then
Well, you still got to sit in your car.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that may. I mean, listen, you're not the only ones doing drive-in events.
No.
I mean, it's you
across
see it
the country. It's
you see it on
popular.
the campaign trail. I think Orlando has a dedicated venue now, bringing back the drive-in theaters, and I think even Hard Rock Stadium down in Miami, they did a movie night where they invited people to drive right there on the infield and use the stadium that way. So, but I think that was a little expensive. I think it was like $200 a car.
This is a little cheaper, and it all goes to a good cause.
Exactly. So in recent years, it's a Thursday night, a Friday night, a Saturday night.
So
Yes.
in Saturday morning, we would
Okay.
traditionally start the Florida Filmmakers Matinee.
Okay.
And we, as part of our mission, we try to promote Florida filmmakers.
Right.
Right. And so we would show films in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we would have a roundtable discussion where all the filmmakers would get to tell a little bit about what they're doing. And really, a lot of cross-pollination occurred at these roundtables because
Right.
a lot of the filmmakers and the people who are making movies got to meet each other, kind of put names to faces. And it's interesting all the projects that have come out because we've had this round table where people have been able to, we like to call it kind of an incubator,
Right.
for film projects. So it's been a really, really nice thing. And then in the evening, we have a red carpet reception. And then we have the VIP showing. And usually we like to show some films that are kind of upbeat because we have an after party.
Right.
And in the after party, we give out awards and we have a lot of fun. And then we shut down, and Bill, I think, goes into hibernation for about 2 weeks because
Right.
he works so hard to make that happen.
I sleep all day Sunday. And, but this year, we're doing something a little different Saturday night, again, because of the pandemic,
Right.
is we're going to be doing a live webcast starting at about 6 o'clock, maybe a little before, which we're not going to be the first in this case, so as far as a film
Right, right.
festival doing something live from the festival, but we might be doing it a little more elaborately than most. We're going to
Okay.
do a live red carpet broadcast, and we're going to the rapper's going to be there, right?
Yes,
Kira
he's
is going to be there.
Yeah.
And then we'll follow that with a transition. We'll show a little recorded piece, a transition to what we see in the theater,
Right.
and there'll be some live greetings and introduction, both in the theater for our live in-person audience and then the online audience. And then we're going to go to a recorded playback of the features the shorts that we are featuring Saturday night, and then we go back to the theater live online for awards presentations. So we're hoping all this works.
Sure. A lot of moving parts.
A lot of spinning plates going on there.
right.
Yep. If you want to see us succeed, we will succeed.
Right.
That will be go to the YouTube site. It's going to be YouTube Live, and Melbourne Independent Filmmakers Festival
Right.
has a YouTube channel. And if you need more information, go to our website, melbournefilmfest.com.
Yeah, and that, now that you mention it, I'm just going to go ahead and bring it up here for those viewers. And is it going to be streamed to the website or just YouTube?
Just YouTube.
Yeah,
So-
it's a dedicated YouTube channel.
So we want to make sure that people listening to this subscribe, hit that bell so they get all the notifications. Because you should subscribe. You said if you subscribe today, you won't miss it. If you hit that bell, you'll get notified. You'll get that push notification saying, "Hey, so and so is live." So looks like you continue to add innovation, and you never know.
Yeah.
The drive-through feature may be something that becomes out of this. Maybe you adopt that. Maybe the streaming is so popular, people adopt that. Because certainly with YouTube, people can access that, as we learned, all around the world at any time. They can watch the replay on demand. So there's lots of potential reach there. So
And
maybe,
we're not charging for that this
Exactly.
year. So we're developing it. We're not, we think it's going to work well, but there is no charge to watch that.
But next year may have a paywall, so get it free while you can, right?
Yes. We haven't given a flavor of the event yet. We can show some of the types of independent films we have. There's a 30-second promo that
Right.
we put together that was shown in the movie theater to promote attendance. This year, we did not do one this year. This is from a couple of years ago, so the dates are a little different. This year, it's the 15th through 17th of October. But let's check out.
Yeah,
the
let's have a
promo.
look. What a great production. I wonder who did that.
That was done by a Cut Above Video Productions.
Very fun. So this year didn't really get a promo because mean, was there a chance that this wouldn't have happened this year? I mean, were you guys?
No,
was
we
that
never,
even a debate?
Never really considered that. As long as the
Okay.
theater was open, we were going to be there.
Perfect.
That was my attitude. I think that was yours.
Certainly,
Terry.
had like a failure is no option. But
Right.
you know, if the theater wanted to pull the plug,
Right.
or for some reason the governor wanted to pull the plug,
Right.
we would have complied with that.
Sure.
But certainly, we're really, really stoked and happy that the theater is willing to do this.
Right.
I hope that the drive-in theater is such a success that the theater might consider incorporating that into their business plan as something they might do, particularly as the weather cools down.
Well, because not for nothing, they have plenty of parking there.
Yeah.
And they also have that outside balcony where, you know,
Right.
I mean, a nice big screen could, prop up.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the outdoor drive-in event,
Right.
I forgot to mention our comedian. All right.
Oh.
Yeah, our comedian is Flip Schultz. He's a very, very famous comedian. He was born in Florida, and he ended up spending a lot of time in L.A. He's done a lot of shows. He's been a lot of TV and a lot of things, but he's moved back to Florida. I think everybody's moving to Florida now, but Flip has moved back to Florida, and we're so honored to have him come and help run the comedy show with us.
Yeah, I mean, on the flyer, on the visual, for those who are just listening in, it looks like he has an HBO emblem, a Comedy Central, ABC, and Last Comic Standing credits to him. So that's pretty fun, exciting.
Super duper.
Yeah.
And it's really an honor to have someone of his caliber performing for us.
Yeah, and you guys are getting, it seems like pretty well-known talent to come and help out. I mean, I'm not sure if they're just able to donate their service
Yep.
or the show or what.
And we've had some people in the past too who've well-known people who have come to our event. We had a premiere of a movie called I'll Believe You, and among others, Patrick Warburton was starring in that.
Fun.
And we've had James Best,
Wow.
a rather well-known character actor.
Sure.
From Dukes of Hazzard, particularly.
Yeah.
We've had Michael Bailey Smith. We had Jerry Manthe from Survivor, who was
Very cool.
lots of people have stopped by.
Right.
Yeah, probably the biggest guest we had was the star of Clerks. Dante.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I'm having a brain fart because
Right.
his name is Brian O'Halloran, and he's a great guy. I mean, just such a real supporter of independent film, and he came, and Brian O'Halloran was just such an incredible, remarkable gentleman, and so supportive of all the independent filmmakers, and he really shared a lot of the knowledge that they're looking for. So sometimes we just get these great guests that come, and it's just a lot of fun, particularly people who want to get involved in making movies. This is really kind of, like I like to say, an incubator.
And one of the nice things about this film festival is we don't make any money on this. People don't get paid to do this.
Right.
All the ticket sales, the donations to sponsors and so forth,
Right.
all that money goes to No Limits Academy, which is,
Wow.
as Terry said earlier, an organization that helps severely disabled children
Sure.
in their education. Not only giving them an education, but really helping them survive in society. Some have gone on to college and have done quite well. And
Excellent.
others who maybe don't have as much capabilities,
Right.
they're given a better reward in life by going through the school and having a better capability of dealing with whatever limitations they have.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing.
And
So is it really just a net zero kind of thing? There must be some costs associated.
yeah, and several businesses donate. The Oaks 10 Theater donates their resources, their facility to the cause.
Wow.
Obviously, Dr. Cronin contributes a great deal to the effort.
Sure.
He's the organizer. He's the founder of the whole thing. And then I show up.
Right.
Oh, come on. Bill does so much work. He deserves a pat on the back.
That's right.
For those watching at home, I'm patting him on the back. I get so caught up in not talking about these great things, Jesse.
Right.
I forget things, and I feel like I forgot to mention Craig Chapman and his TV show Crafted. Now, Crafted is a show.
I've heard about it.
It's about craft beers,
Right.
right? And so he's got these little short documentaries about craft beers. And we're going to show them at the Friday drive-in.
Oh, fun.
And the breweries are offering samples of the craft beers that you're going to get to watch. So
Oh,
in
fun.
between the comedy shows, you'll get to watch a little bit about a
Right.
beer, and then you get to taste it if you want.
And is it like a walk-up service to the cars?
Yes, yeah, we're going to have little carts
Oh,
so that
cool.
people can get a sample.
And Sherman Beer Ventures bringing the beer, right?
Yes. I love it.
St. Pauli girls. And
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
How many tickets are left for the drive-in?
We don't know. I don't know I don't know the number, but they're going to go fast. We've sold out in the
I mean,
sold out in the past.
It already sounds great.
Yeah, and I think that it's one of those events that hopefully we'll put this coronavirus in the rear view, and you'll look back and say, man, it sucked, but boy, the MIF was great that year.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think there's going to be lots of footnotes with asterisks. 2020 sucked, but this happened.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some great things.
Yeah.
MIF was great despite pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's going to be as far as the footnotes of footnotes this year, there's going to be lots of items, lots of events who are going to have to say, we did what we could. It was still a success. And despite it all, we still kept the integrity of the event. We still were able to please the community. We were still able to accept the submissions and offer those and debut those. So I think people are going to continue to just praise the efforts that you guys have done. And it seems like it's not easy. Certainly, it's a passion project of yours. So going back. If we were to say change anything, improve it, going back from the last couple years when it was normal, are there any things that any kind of takeaways that you're like, man, if we could just have done this better or that better, and ultimately where do you want to see this kind of become?
Well, one of the things that I'm always in shock of is that we don't have more sponsors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so more sponsors. It all goes to a good cause. It's a great cultural event. I've been to lots of festivals in other cities and things like that, and they never have as good a time as we do, but they have bigger sponsors. So I feel like I'm probably dropping the ball by not asking or shaming some of the bigger corporations in town. Like,
so it sounds like you have plenty of in-kind sponsors donating service, venue.
We have that, and we also have some great sponsors donating money because it goes directly to the cause.
Because you need some monetary sponsors too. Yeah,
and the dermatology community has always been so supportive. They donate a lot of money.
I wonder why that is.
Well,
Terry.
they're very nice. Very nice. Robinson Insurance has been great. Allen and Company.
Perfect.
We get so many nice people donating, and it builds it. It's kind of a heartwarming thing that so many people dig in. But boy, I'd love to get sponsored by a Bacardi rum or some, or an airline or something like that. That would make it, that would bring us to the next level, Jesse.
Right.
So we're not quite at the next level,
right?
But one of the things that I love to say is that Melbourne is the center of the universe, and we have a small town feel.
Right.
And I've had so many filmmakers from Hollywood say that the best film festival that they went to, that their film showed at, was the MIF, and it was because of the quality of our audience. Our audience is fired up.
Yep, they are.
It's just one of those things. We have a great audience.
And you say the next level. What does it take to get to that next level? Like just for the listeners, like, well, when you say, because it sounds like you're doing everything. You got 3 days of activities. You got the international segment, you got a local segment, you got VIPs, you got red carpets, comedy, horror. Like, it just seems like you've incorporated so many fun little segments and little niche, fun little opportunities for people to come and enjoy things. What would make you like a con or Sundance?
And if we were bringing in A-list or even B-list celebrities, there's a cost to that. Or obviously travel, room and board,
right,
and also a lot of times they get a stipend or something like that. Maybe they donate their stipend to the cause, which they've offered to do. But a lot of it has to do with travel and amenities and all that stuff. And if a corporation sponsored that, you could imagine Harris Corporation's celebrity, MIF celebrity.
L3 Harris.
Well, and the other factor is
SpaceX.
because we donate everything to charity,
Right.
we don't have a budget to do some of the traditional marketing that other film festivals do, or that, a few years ago, Arts and Algorithms in Titusville, they had a relative to our non-existent marketing budget, they had a small but formidable marketing budget, and they would therefore get a lot more attention to their event than we can draw to ours with our zero marketing budget.
So the wish list is, just to summarize, is monetary sponsorship. We need A-list, B-list, even like B-minus celebs, and then a marketing budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And if we could get some of that marketing in kind, which is what other film festivals do.
Whatever I could do here. You know?
That's what you're doing. And of course, when we talk about B-minus, maybe you could show up.
Yeah, you made it on B-minus.
Walk the red carpet, Jesse.
That's
Yes.
right.
You know, it's fantastic. Well, you know, sometimes we're just lucky,
Right.
And I do think that we're very lucky that certain celebrities have shown up and been at our show, or some of them have just been kind enough to show up. And one of the things that just kind of lucky that happened is that John Travolta's sister Annie moved to Melbourne.
I've heard,
And she's kind of joined the filmmaking community and the acting community, and she approached me and Bill last year and said, you know, she wanted to make a movie.
Very cool.
Right. So that's something that we were project we set in motion before Corona hit, and then despite Corona, we were able to shoot this comedy called Last Impressions, and we
I think I have the poster.
Yeah, and we cast a lot of local talent. Not only star in this movie, but also as featured background actors. And it's all shot in a funeral home here, a local funeral home.
The whole thing in its entirety.
Yeah, and
that's
it's
funny.
And it's turned out great, and we are premiering it Saturday night at the MIF, and we're looking forward to everyone getting a chance to see that and to see themselves if they were actually in the film.
Oh,
you know,
cool.
so it's great, and Annie directed it, and she's just been a real pleasure to work with, and it's like one of these good luck things that's happened for the festival that we got involved with her.
And if you can't make it to the MIF in person, that particular piece will be shown online.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're streaming that Saturday night.
Yeah.
But just tune in between 6 and 9, right? 6 and 10 or so.
It'll start 6-ish. We haven't set a time yet, and the movies start a little bit after 7.
Right.
And run for about an hour and a half, and then the awards.
How exciting! Well, I look forward to being there in person. It'll be my first time I've and I've seen it all, like every single year. People talk about it. Again, friends are debuting are premiering their movies, or they're attending, or they're playing, you know, as part as the entertainment, you know, with the band segment. I just for the life of me, I don't have an excuse. I really don't. So this
you're kind of obligated, because for those who don't know,
Yeah.
Jesse has volunteered to help us with our online effort, so we make sure that goes smoothly.
So I really hope that it does go smoothly. The test run was really great. So let's just knock wood.
If it doesn't work, it's not my fault.
Yeah, blame me.
Jesse, I'll tell you that every year we have like a theme, you know,
Yes.
and we pick a theme, and then we make a T-shirt, and we sell T-shirts and all this
Merchandise,
stuff.
yeah.
Right. So this year our theme is the Film-Demic. The Film-Demic.
Yes,
right.
your flyer.
Right,
has
and
that.
we're promoting that, but we're not doing a T-shirt this year. We're doing a commemorative mask. So I'll make sure, Jesse, that you get a MIF mask, so that you can, you know, everyone will be wearing MIF masks at the MIF.
Let me just pull this up. This is This is we're not going on a break, so I'll just show you guys this slide here. Film-Demic with the big old surgical mask around the world. How great is this? There's some of the great sponsors at the top of the flyer.
Yeah.
Certainly, thanks to them for their continued support. So, man, this interview, this time here, guys, is already kind of flying by. We're in our 45th minute. We want to make sure that we spend the next 15 minutes really diving into whatever you guys think would really help the audience understand, again, more about what the MIF represents, where it's going, some of the previous accolades. You know, again, you know, have you made international press? I mean, have you saved clippings from around the world? You know, or anything else? I mean, have you had celebrity endorsements or things of that nature? So,
well, we've had some interesting things happen. I think I remember when we were still at the Henniger Center, we invited a filmmaker who had made a few shorts from New York, and his name was Paul Sullivan. And they were really cute comedies. They were funny.
Right.
And Paul was just a wonderful personality, very nice guy. He made friends with everybody. And a short time later, he calls us up and he said that he had some investors and he was going to make a feature film.
Oh.
And that they were originally going to shoot it in New Jersey, but because of the film festival, he wanted to shoot it in Melbourne. And Bill mentioned that it was called I'll Believe You. When it first came out, it was going to be called First Time Caller, but it ended up becoming I'll Believe You, and it's a great comedy, and people can rent it. They can get it online, but it's all shot in Melbourne, and it's got great stars like Chris Elliott and Patrick Warburton, and even the guy from The Hangover. What's that guy from? There's
Zach Galifianakis?
No, not Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The dentist.
The dentist. Yeah. What is his name?
Oh, blanking. But he's in it. I mean, it's unbelievable, the people that are in this movie. And it's all shot in Melbourne. And so you watch it and you're like, oh, my God, Melbourne really is the center of the universe. Yeah, it's like one of these things. So you've got Stranger Than Paradise, Jim Jarmusch's first independent film that hit it big, shot in Melbourne. And you got I'll Believe You, the Paul Sullivan wonderful comedy shot in Melbourne. What else, Bill? What other great achievements?
Attempting Escape was shot in Melbourne.
Oh yeah, Bill's wonderful short film has gone on.
My point of bringing that up is that we do have a lot of creative efforts that were done, homegrown here,
Right.
and that those things get shown at the MIF, and some people go on to do bigger and better things. And I'll Believe You was probably one of the best things done here that we've shown at the MIF, and it got a lot of attention when it was being shot. It employed a lot of people here.
Very
so
cool.
Having productions here helps the local economy.
Absolutely.
And we, as filmmakers, promote that. So those of you who are personally friends with some of our legislators, keep that in mind.
Right.
Filmmaking is a good, clean business, and it brings money from the outside into our local economy.
You say that, and the thing that comes up right away is The Walking Dead. It's filmed, all around like the suburbs of Atlanta, not suburbs, so like the countryside, I should say, but like all of like south of Atlanta, and you can just see the scenes, and it's not all on just one. They kind of spread it out, but they give these tourist dollars, for these local economies. People just want to see, the houses or the compounds that that they've been watching, and these country roads even, and it's really become a little tourist destination. It's the film industry has certainly made a stake there, a little claim, to that area, and I don't know about you, but I think Georgia or anybody, anybody who has that influx of cash would really appreciate that industry coming and blessing their small little town with, now they need accommodations, they need people to show them around. They have the Walking Dead tour maps of all the different locations, so it helps any economy.
That's a very good point, and that's a point that when the legislature measures the value of a particular incentive, Georgia gives a relatively formidable incentive to filmmakers.
Right. And
Florida does not. There are incentives, but they're not like Georgia. And the measure in Florida is the tax return,
right,
and the sales tax return and so forth. And it's not the intangible that you just mentioned, which is very important and can be significant. The aquarium over in the Tampa area,
sure,
where A Dolphin's Tale was shot.
Yes, exactly.
That was kind of a facility that was not doing well tourist-wise. But after the movie came out, they had a major improvement in their business because of that movie. And that's an intangible.
That was a cute movie.
That's not part of the measurement that the legislature uses when making a decision whether or not to fund an effort.
Right.
So do we have time for the highlights of what the MIF is like? Gives you a good overview?
Absolutely. We still have some of the little bit of pre-roll that you sent us as well for our audience to have a look at.
Right. The highlights, what I'm discussing right now, gives a flavor of what the MIF is about. It gives you some of the red carpet, some of the movies we show, and just a overview of the whole event. I think it's about a minute and a half long.
Let's have a look.
I'm very honored and excited to be here today at the Melbourne Independent Filmmakers Festival.
So again, for the
Take
listeners,
somebody who's the biggest introvert in the world, put them in a
got some
suit,
interviews,
and they just want to be the life of the party.
a lot of red carpet action.
Don't you think this is a filmmaker-friendly festival?
Oh, absolutely.
Are you happy to be here?
Yes. We had a great time because there was a lot of good short films this year.
And more scenes of different features.
Kim.
Hello, Jackie boy. And I'm just in total admiration of what you put together here in Melbourne.
Support the MIF. Come out here. These people work so hard. It's a wonderful event.
A lot of titles scrolling through.
So that is from 5 years ago, Jesse.
Yeah. That's terrific, and I apologize to those listeners who are like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Try to narrate, the play-by-play, but certainly, you may just have to watch this episode with the video component as well. But yeah, it seems like everybody has a lot of fun. Like there's just so much smiles, and there's glitz and glam on our. I don't want to say modest. I mean, it seems like it's a really fun red carpet time. I mean, there's
some of us even put our Sunday go to meeting clothes on to go to this thing.
Well, we want to deliver an experience
Yeah.
at the MIF, and I think we were able to do that. And people come away feeling a little bit of the glamour and the excitement.
Right.
And you know what? The filmmakers tell me over and over again the appreciation.
Right.
They are appreciated, and it's all going for a good cause. So I think that there's not a lot of snooty, snobby stuff going on.
right. No,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't seem like it's closed off. Like there's not like a certain element that's dissuaded or not invited. It seems like it's very inclusive. No matter who you are, what background you are, if you appreciate films in general at all.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah. So let's we keep on talking about No Limits. As we get into the 53rd minute, let's go ahead and just present that before we get too late in the show. Here we go.
The purpose of No Limits Academy is to change the educational system. I have seen that there is a deficit in that system because I raised 2 children with cerebral palsy. By connecting their communication and their ability to speak and interact with their education, that's huge. That's life-changing for a child.
When we opened the Limits Academy, we decided not to charge parents tuition. We wanted to serve the whole community, regardless of economic status. And a lot of these parents have huge expenses with their kids due to their medical needs.
We are proving to politicians, to researchers, to doctors, that these children have worth and value in their lives.
The MIF has helped No Limits Academy tremendously to provide the resources that we need to be able to educate these children. We got iPads and smart boards. We were able to push forward in the technology and provide the opportunity for these kids to flourish.
When I walk into No Limits Academy, I see that these children want more out of life.
As I see these children in our school, I do see that there are no limits to whatever you want to become, what you want to do. That's an inspiration to me.
We would like to thank the MIF for everything they've done for No Limits Academy. I have to tell you that you have changed children's lives.
And for those who didn't see what was going on, the 2 women who were speaking, Laura and Roberta, are the 2 women who founded and run No Limits Academy, which is a nonprofit organization.
Those kids, they look like they had all the resources. They look like they had pride and confidence. It seems like it's doing God's work over there.
It's amazingly rewarding to see what they do, because we shot video there, and
Right.
we put this together and interacted. We got a lot of time with the kids.
Sure.
And these are kids who are many of them, severely neuromuscular disabled, challenged.
Sure.
And there you did see smiling faces. You did see them interacting. You did see them using touchpads to communicate where otherwise they couldn't.
Right.
So there's a lot of technology that the MIF helps provide the school. The school was going to get it at some time anyhow, but the MIF money, the donations from the MIF, which has exceeded $60,000 now.
Repeat that?
The MIF donations have exceeded $60,000 at this point.
That's amazing.
That money is used to accelerate the purchase of these aids that help these kids learn, even in spite of their disabilities.
Absolutely. And what some people don't know, nonprofits, just because they don't really pay taxes and they have all kinds of benefits, doesn't mean that they're self-funded. They still really need a large amount of contribution from outside parties, and especially with the tax law, these 501c3s, they don't keep any revenue. They have to spend everything that they make.
They
by
have
law.
they have no problem doing that.
Right, exactly. But and yeah, there is some admin costs. You want some professionals around the kids and the best facility, but there's but a lot of that goes to directly into the cause, and and it seems like of the money, there's no fluff. There's no fluff or slush fund that the money's going to. I mean, it's going like 100% to these kids.
I have worked with this organization for probably 6 years now, 7, and I see from the inside how they operate, and they're not making six-figure incomes. The people who run this, they are really putting in something from their heart. They really are doing good work.
Yeah, and that's a population that has no voice. A lot of these, cerebral palsy. I mean, the people I know that both have the challenges, both parents and so forth, family members. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a I don't want to say a life sentence of just isolation, but without the tools and resources, it can be, because it's you don't have control of your muscles. You can't really talk or communicate sometimes. Besides maybe a smile and a glimpse of the eyes, so it's really tough for parents and anybody who has somebody in their life that is suffering from such a thing, or living I should say suffering, but living with such a condition. It's really tough for them as well, and to have them get support and and just give those living with these conditions just a little bit more of quality of life, whatever that looks like. Being able to say I'm hungry, being able to just communicate with basic terms.
And if this school wasn't here, the alternative is to somehow either try and mainstream these kids, or they sit in an institutional type environment, really with no stimulation.
Right. Yeah. So there is no options. If you feel compelled to give to No Limits, what's the best way to do that?
I wish I knew their website.
It's
sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
No Limits Academy. They can accept donations, of course. And
it's nolimitsacademy.com.
Okay. If somebody were to say, I heard this podcast, I feel compelled, I'm going to bring, let's say, a check to the film festival next weekend. Is that possible?
That is absolutely possible.
Okay.
And we will give you a big old thank you and make a big deal about it, because that's one of the reasons we are doing the film festival, is to raise money for this group.
So as we come to a close, let's go ahead and remind people how to find you. Also, is there any packages? Is there any stay and play packages? Do you have a hotel partner? Somebody wants to come from out of town, and they just feel so compelled to help out, and or just they just feel like it's a party that they don't want to miss. How do they?
Well, if they want to come from out of town, they can stay at the Courtyard Marriott, which is here in Melbourne. It's a block away from the theater.
It's so
it's a great place,
yeah.
and they're helping us. With Flip Schultz, and he's staying there. And
cool.
So they're a partner.
Right.
I did want to say, just kind of dovetailing on what you said, if somebody wants to bring a check
Right.
You know, a substantial check. Just make it out to No Limits Academy, and we'll let you walk the red carpet. We'll take your pictures, and we can make a presentation. You know, if you show up, we'll let you walk the red carpet with the filmmakers if you got a nice check. That would be fantastic. You know, we want everyone to feel like a star and feel glamorous, and this might be an opportunity for you to get some pictures taken on the red carpet. There was another question you had, Jesse. What was it? What else?
Yeah, so are there any
packages?
Stay and play packages?
You know,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get the all-access pass, it's a little less expensive this year. It's only $40 for everything. So you could go to
very affordable.
3 days of excitement this year. Normally, it's a little heftier because we have some catered events. We don't have any catered events this year because of COVID.
Right.
So it's $40. You can't beat that. You can go to the opening night Surviving SuperCon. You can go to Friday's International Films. You can go to the drive-in. Comedy drive-in. You can go to the horror show. You can go to the Florida Filmmakers on Saturday morning. You can see the films on Saturday afternoon, Intelligent Thinking, Patent Pending, and The Porter. And you can go to the VIP event, red carpet event that night and see the great films that we're showing.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the schedule. Let me bring this back up, and if you want to just reiterate what the schedule says.
Yeah.
But I'm looking here. You know, we have the opening night presentation. Is that invitation only, or is
no, it's open to
that's
open
a flat
to the
rate?
public. Yeah, and that's Surviving SuperCon. It's fantastic.
No, I think I'm going to try to make that.
Yeah.
Actually,
the director will be here, and actually some of the stars may also be there.
And yeah, because if you add up all the different
prices,
items,
it comes up to be about $75.
Yeah, the VIP program and awards is $20 itself.
Yeah.
But this schedule looks like a lot of fun. I mean, it's action packed, despite it all. Once again, the front of the flyer is just hilarious. Film-Demic, another great theme brought to you guys by MIF, the Melbourne Independent Film Festival. Terry, Bill, I think we've kind of gone through just about everything. All the pre-roll, all of the all of the flyers and all the movie posters. Anything else that you want to go close and finish this episode with?
Well, there's a lot of people put in a lot of effort. We've mentioned some of them. One that we did forget to mention, we being me, is Billy Both, who helps a great deal putting together all the submissions so that they're all organized for us to present. So he's done that for quite a few years now, and I want a big shout out to him for helping out. And there's many volunteers.
You want to repeat some of the sponsors there on the flyer?
Oh, the sponsors on the Brevard Live is one of them. Robinson Insurance, A Cut Above Video, Laser Chrome Technologies, Hemingway's Tavern, Three Boys Productions, Robin and Eddie, Premier Theaters, of course, and two I can't read here, Terry.
Well, one is Rockstar Entertainment, and I wanted to give a shout out to Charles and Lisa Knight, who are going to be performing karaoke as everyone's parking for the drive-in. And they're actually going to be kind of masters of ceremonies during the presentation. So I'm so glad we mentioned that. They're just fantastic. They know how to start a party. They're going to be outdoors getting this party going. And then, of course, we're going to have Flip Schultz, the comedian.
And then Crafted, I'm looking at the Crafted logo on there as well.
Yes.
Beer being delivered to your car. Maybe we should have mentioned that. MPD, look away.
Just a taste, Jesse.
Right?
Just a taste. Yeah.
To everybody else but the drivers, right? Everybody else but the drivers allowed.
Yes.
Well, this is great. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the studio. This has been another episode of Business Elite Brevard Edition. Again, we're bringing together the innovators, industry leaders, and influencers of the Space Coast right here to your ears. Thanks so much for listening or watching. However you're consuming, we really appreciate you joining us. And until next time, may your business be great. Take care. We'll see you.